de su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde hermosa 1470 AM, 96.9 FM. Les habla Lilia Galindo. Tengo conmigo al analista político Thomas Elias. Él escribe 2 veces a la semana aquí en el Antelope Valley Press. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Good morning.
Good morning. So, today I think we're going to talk a little bit about Donald Trump. How could we not talk about Donald Trump today? Day before yesterday, he was indicted again, his third indictment in the last 6 months. No trials yet, no convictions yet, but he's indicted once again. And he doesn't have an answer to the charges against him. It's very interesting. Plan A, when you're a defendant in a trial, is to deny the charges against you and fight them and try to prove that those charges are wrong. But Trump doesn't do that. He goes to Plan B. Plan B is not to defend yourself against the charges against you. It's to attack the people that are charging you with these things. So instead of hearing about how he didn't try to steal the election or how he didn't lie about whether he lost the election, and he didn't try to send that mob to the Capitol on January 6th of 2021, instead of hearing any of that, all we hear about is how Biden has a crime family and about how the Justice Department is being weaponized. In other words, he's attacking the people who have indicted him because he doesn't have a defense for what he did. That's one of the key things. And that's something that his followers have not yet realized. He still has the support of more than half of the registered Republican voters in this country. In other words, if the primary election in California was held today, Donald Trump would get over half the votes, and he would get all the California delegates under new rules that were passed by the party the other day. So
Wow.
This is something that's a real problem in this country, that at least a quarter, maybe 40% of the people in this country cannot stomach looking at the truth about Donald Trump. They basically feel he can do no wrong. And I'm going to stop there for you.
Ok. Bueno, estamos hablando, dice, vamos a hablar el día de hoy del expresidente Trump. ¿Cómo podríamos no hablar de él? Dice, ya lleva 3 acusaciones. Todavía no ha habido juicios, ni siquiera convicciones tampoco. Pero dice, pero a diferencia de todos los acusados que siempre tratan de defenderse de lo que le están acusando, diciendo, no lo hice, ¿por qué no lo hice? Dice, él tiene una estrategia diferente. Él trata de acusar a todo el mundo de que están usando, dice que están usando todos los argumentos en contra de él y no quiere reconocer, por ejemplo, que hizo fraude para movilizar a todas esas personas que vinieron el 6 de enero a crear esa catástrofe ahí fuera del Congreso. Dice, y entonces él se la pasa atacando a todos los que le acusen, se la pasa atacando al presidente Biden y lo acusa a él y a su familia de estar robando. Dice, él en lugar de defenderse también dice que toda la justicia está en contra del expresidente Trump, en contra de él, y que él no ha hecho nada malo. Y dice, el problema es que sus seguidores todavía le siguen creyendo, y más de la mitad de republicanos todavía creen que él es una persona que es inocente, y dice, más o menos, todavía 40% de las personas están en su favor, y él dice que si hubiese una elección en California, ahorita, de acuerdo con cómo está la ley, votarían por el presidente Trump again. Okay, you can continue now, please.
Okay. So let's be clear here. When we talk about Donald Trump, we're talking about a man who's facing 3 separate indictments. One, for unlawfully taking classified documents and lying about it. Number 2 was for paying hush money to a porn star and lying about it. And now number 3, for trying to overturn the results of a legitimate election when he knew he had lost. he had been told repeatedly by his own people that he had lost. So now you see kind of emblematic of the Republicans who can't admit that Trump did anything wrong are the Republicans who are supposedly running against him for the presidential nomination next year. You have Ron DeSantis, you have Mike Pence, the former vice president, you have Tim Scott, the senator from South Carolina, you have Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina. All these people, none of them faults Trump for anything in those indictments. Instead, they say he's being unfairly prosecuted. And the unfairness, of course, was from Trump, who tried to steal the election. Now, what does this tell you about the Republican Party? First, it tells you that these people who are supposedly running against Trump are really not running against him. They're running to be his vice presidential candidate right now. And because the Republican voters around the country sense that, they've now made an unheard of person the number 3 performer in the polls. Somebody named Vivek Ramaswamy is number 3 in the Republican polls right now. He's ahead of Mike Pence, the former vice president, even. He runs behind only Trump and Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. And that's just kind of ridiculous. Have a complete unknown getting significantly more support 6 months before the primary than these significant established politicians.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so what does this also reveal? Well, polling tells us that the overwhelming majority of Republican voters either don't believe that Trump did the things that he did and that he said the things that he said on television and on the radio and on in speeches. They just don't believe that he did it. They've tuned it out completely. Or if they do believe he said those things, they don't care. And I'm going to stop there.
Okay. Bueno, dice, entonces hasta este momento el expresidente Donald Trump tiene 3 separados juicios. Uno, por haber tomado los documentos que no le correspondían, documentos de alta seguridad del gobierno de los Estados Unidos. El segundo es por la demanda que le hizo una persona que se dedicaba a la pornografía y que la ofendió, y ese es otro de los casos. Y este tercer caso es por tratar de modificar los resultados de la elección. Y bueno, todavía muchos republicanos no pueden admitir que él realmente hizo algo que no estaba bien. Hay varios candidatos que están corriendo para reemplazarlo como candidatos presidenciales, pero yo creo que en realidad ellos están contando de que si el expresidente Trump otra vez agarra la nominación del Partido Republicano, ellos podrían ser los vicepresidentes, y está el gobernador de Florida, Santos, y también incluso el mismo ex vicepresidente Mike Pence, que también está tratando de correr como presidente, pero no tiene ningún respaldo de los votantes. Hay otro senador que se llama Scott, y también una que fue gobernadora y representante de la ONU, que fue Nikki. Todos ellos dicen, yo creo que su tirada es que simplemente que los elijan como vicepresidentes en caso de que nuevamente el presidente Trump llegue a ganar la elección. Dice, entonces, lo que se ve, lo que las encuestas están diciendo, es que los republicanos todavía no creen que él hizo algo malo. No creen que, a pesar de que ven incluso sus declaraciones por él mismo en la televisión, todavía piensan que él no hizo nada malo, o simplemente no les importa si hizo algo malo y continúan apoyando. Okay, you can continue now, please.
Okay, so one of the more interesting things that's happened just this morning is that Bill Barr, the Attorney General for most of the Trump administration, until the very last days when he refused to go along with trying to overturn the election. But Bill Barr is warning Republicans that loyalty to Donald Trump is a one-way street, which means he expects his followers to be loyal to him, but he's not loyal to them at all. Just look at what he's done to Mike Pence, his former vice president, and the names he's called him, and how he's tried to destroy Pence's political future. That's just one example. But what Barr says is that Trump leaves in his wake ruined lives. He talks about the people who went up to Capitol Hill for the riot. These individuals, he says, were sucked into things by Donald Trump. Well, over 1,000 of the people who went to the Capitol that day are now in prison because of what they did. And that's one way in which their lives have been ruined by Donald Trump. So what Barr is doing is he's warning Republicans that if they continue to follow Trump blindly, they're going to become part of the carnage. They will eventually be destroyed in one way or another by what they're doing. So I'm going to stop here.
Okay. Dice, lo que es importante es saber que ayer el que era su abogado general, el procurador general Bill Barr, dice que renunció unos días antes de que terminara el gobierno del expresidente Trump porque se negó a ayudarle a participar en cambiar los resultados de la elección electoral. Y él ayer en una declaración en la televisión estaba advirtiendo a las personas que cuando ellos son leales al presidente Trump, que esperen que esa lealtad nomás sea de un solo, de ellos para el presidente Trump, pero al revés no va a suceder. Ellos no, al expresidente Trump no le interesa qué pase con las personas. Dice, y estamos viendo, por ejemplo, el caso del vicepresidente Mike Pence, que lo ha estado atacando vilmente porque se negó también a seguir esta farsa de que el expresidente Trump había ganado la elección. Así es que dice, va a destruir todo el futuro de todos los que están a su alrededor y les va a arruinar las vidas. Y vean el ejemplo de las personas que ahora están en la cárcel por haber contribuido o por haberle creído lo que él decía. Y en ese evento del 6 de enero, pues ahora están en prisión y eventualmente les pasará lo mismo a todos. Tom, time is gone. Thank you so much. Let's talk about
Thank you, Liliana.
this next week. Thank you. Hasta la vista. Thank you. Bye. Nos vamos, amigos. Gracias.